Hi everybody, what's going on? I'm Sean James and this is Kentucky, the mini truck state. In this week's video, we're going to continue working on the Nissan Hardbody new console that we can get replaced. Brandon Tilley's picking up the old one, so that one has been claimed. Before we get into it though, let's make sure to do all the good YouTube things. Make sure to hit the like switch, comment down below, hit the notification bells. Make sure and share my content as that helps spread my channel. And also, if you're not a subscriber, please think about subscribing. That would be great. I would appreciate it. Like I said, this week we're working on getting the console done. We got to the point last week where we have the front and rear pieces ready to go. So it's just a matter of getting them joined together. I've got everything kind of set up outside. It's been a really nice day outside. Yesterday, we went to Bluegrass Blowout in Marion, Kentucky. That video will come out next week, so make sure and tune in for that because there's some stuff that went on there. So let's see what it was. Had a really good time with my friends. I've got Kendall outside. She's out here hobby horsing. There's Katie sitting there watching. What's up, Mowgli? Mowgli, come here. That's crazy. But anyway, let's we're gonna go get this console brought out here, get it taken apart. We can get that stuff cut out. We'll go ahead and then we'll figure out where we want to put the cup holders and get that stuff kind of taken care of. Yeah, we'll pick it up from there. I brought it back. I didn't say it for a long time. We're gonna be picking it up from there from the lot. So y'all get used to hearing it, picking it up. All right, so now we got this set up here, and we know that we need this thing to be 40 and a half to fit inside there. So what we're gonna do is we'll leave this about 40 and 3/8. That we have just a little bit of wiggle room there. We don't want to make it extremely tight. And then, as you can see, that leaves a little bit of a gap right here in the center, which is fine because these pieces can be angle cut. But what we want to do is go ahead and mark this where we want to cut that, and we'll make sure and check that with a square. We'll take this apart, we'll cut this off, and then we'll get these two mated up, and we gotta get this cut to fit inside there now. So let's go ahead and get this cut off, and then we'll worry about trying to get this to go inside there to fit that. So one second. As I was getting set up this morning, Kendall was trying to make her horse jump out there. She painted it herself and did all that stuff, and she was trying to find a way to put it together. And so, well, if you want to do it, you got to do it yourself. So I gave her my drills and showed her a few things, and I eventually helped her put it together, but she did all that herself for the most part. So that's really cool. So I've got the chop saw set up over here. I'll go ahead and just cut this off the chop saw, and again, I'm going to try and leave that just a little bit of that pencil line. All right, so we got that cut now. So we'll just put it back together. And on these screws, I'm not running them in extremely tight until actually you start gluing this together. That way it doesn't wear out the MDF, because this stuff doesn't like to be taken apart and put together a lot. So just be something to think about, and also make sure and stay away from the edges. I always pre-drill. That way it's less likely to split the MDF near the edges. All right, so now that we got that, we need to get this figured out. Hope that was in scene there. So now we need to figure out how this is going to sit. And we marked this the other day. Can y'all see that? We marked these angles the other day where we want this to line up at. So that's where that's going to go. So what we need to do now is mark this angle here and this here. Grab my pencil. And that'll go there. And then we take a tape measure and measure what that difference is. Make sure and drop just, go to like a random inch. And it's about 9/16. So we'll want this to come back 9/16. And then that should match that up really close. We'll have a little bit of a gap there, which we knew that was going to be like that anyway, because like I said, this corner is going to get cut off. So we're not too worried about that. I'll go ahead and do that off camera real quick. We'll probably just use a table saw to rip this in where we want it. And then we'll just take a handsaw and just handsaw this back. So we'll come back and get that done. All right, so we got that trimmed. Now let's see if we can make it fit. There we go. I'm not mad at that. That's a good fit. So get where we can look at it a little better here. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. So now we have that fitting together. We know that's going to work. We can check our measurement just to make sure. We want to be about 40 3/8, so we have a little bit of room. And it's, yeah, we're right there, so we're good. So that's going to be what we need. So now it's just a matter of getting these parts cut off. And I said those angles can be whatever you want them to be. They don't have to be anything specific. You could do 45s if you wanted to. I don't like 45s. I think it's be a little bit steep there. So, and I'm pretty sure those were like 27 or something, kind of shallow angles there. But and what we'll probably do is set up the table saw where we can actually cut these off in the table saw if we can. I don't know if we can or not. No, we can't, because that's gonna be steeper than what we can cut on the saw. I do have a trick for that though. Whenever we cut the pieces to fill this in, to join those together. So we'll make sure and do that here in a second. What I want to do is I actually want to cut this from the inside of our angle where this is at. And so when we do join this together, the piece is here and not on the outside. And that way we can tie it together with screws going through the face, and we don't have to fix those in the other piece. So, or do we? I don't remember. It's been a while. All right, just to be safe and make sure, I made this pattern of the console and the truck. Just check and make sure these angles are going to work out the way I want them to. And if I line this up where it's supposed to go, the shift boot is definitely where it has to be. So these marks that I had on here roughly put on there will be close enough. I do need to bring them in a little bit, but like I said, we're gonna cut them back here, so they will be inside of those, so we're good to go. So all we gotta do is use our pattern here, our little 1x board, and mark our angles. And as you can see, this one's a little bit wider than that, but that's not a problem, because when we put the board on there, it's gonna go all the way up to that, and we'll make that work out. So we'll be good. Actually, we need to bring those in a little bit. So let's do this. We'll get that mark there. We'll line it up on that. Then we'll mark it. And we'll do the same thing over here. We have that line there, so we just line it up with it. Scoot it back a little bit. We'll have to cut this off so we can test it in the truck all together. Make sure it's all going to work. Well, it fit the other day. We can probably do it now before we cut that off. I'm thinking I did this different the other day. I'm not sure what we're doing here. All right, so what we can do is go ahead and check this angle, and each angle on both sides shows 60. So the opposite of 60 is 30 to create a 90-degree angle. So all we have to do is come over here where this comes straight off and mark it to that point. And then we can cut this in the table saw really easily, and I'll show you a trick on how to do that. Same thing here, you gotta remember which line you're going to. We're going to the inside line. Let's make sure and mark it to that. This will get taken off, and we'll cut this square, and then you turn your saw to 30 degrees, and you get another board that you can hold upright, and you run it through, and that'll cut a 60-degree angle on this backside for you really easily, and make that much easier to put that together. So, and then this, I don't know if you can see the angle's good enough. Let me set it a little bit different here. So you have, this will have to get cut straight into this line. Then this gets cut off completely. Then we'll have a little piece that actually goes back here to tie this all together. So, and then we can cut this off with the skill saw. We can cut this side off with the skill saw, and this will get cut off with the table saw. So let's get set up, and I'll show you how we do that little trick. That's one of the little tricks that I wanted to show in the first place. So we'll take these 4 screws back out, take this piece off, We're gonna get to it. I got screws in the backside holding this together, so we got to pull those out as well. But let me show you how to do that little trick real quick. All right, now we can actually cut this on the chop saw if we want to, or to do a skill saw. Either way. Hello, honey. How you doing? My wife's trying to sneak up on me eating runts. Didn't work out very good for her because I can hear it coming from a mile away. But let me go ahead and get this. We'll cut this off straight off here. Cut this one off straight off there. Then I'll show you the trick on the table saw. All right, I don't know if you can see it or not, but a little bit of a pencil line there. A little bit of the pencil line there. That way we know we're in the right spot. And then what we'll do is we'll come over here to our table saw and we'll just set this up at a 30-degree angle. Right there at 30. And this doesn't have to be exact. We'll make sure and run it up where we have plenty of blade to run through the piece. I'm going backwards. And so what I like to do is take this, lay it on the table, and then we'll just take a clamp and clamp it together so it can't move. And then what we'll do is we'll run this blade in to where this back piece is just touching the saw blade. Or just off of it. Because we can always move it in a little bit. We can't move it out once we cut too much off. So now that we have that set, just tighten the blade down. Got to plug the saw in. And then with this being set at 30, this is going to cut that at 60. So, you ready? And right there is our 60-degree angle. A really easy way to do that. And yeah, so you need to, for any angle, just take the opposite of it, up to 45. Now we'll do the same thing on this other one. Make sure we turn it the right way. This time it'll go backwards, facing it. Take it down. Clamp it together, and then just check. They're just going to hit the right line. All right, so now that we have those cut, it'd be kind of the same thing to do the outside pieces. We'll go ahead and put this thing back together. And once we get it back together, we have to cut pieces that will now fit from here into that. And it'll have that same angle. So what we'll do is we'll take some other pieces we have inside. We'll rip them down to the length we need. We'll do the same thing. We'll go ahead and cut this hard angle on it because the other angles are, straight up. We can cut it straight up really easily. So we'll go ahead and cut the 60-degree angles on those two pieces and get them ready to go on here. And we'll go from there. I actually have a couple console pieces I messed up in there, so I'll just cut those off and use those to make those. But yeah, this is a really cool way to do that. I hope that's one of the tips that I really want to show you guys. Once I started doing this the other day, I wish I would have recorded it then, but we're getting to it now. A lot of people I talked to at Bluegrass Blowout said they really like the console stuff, so I guess we'll be doing a little bit more of that stuff maybe. So, but again, I'm just learning this stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning it as I go. So trying to teach you guys how to do it. Not really, just showing you what I'm doing and what works for me. So hopefully you guys can pick up something from this. That's the whole point of me doing this. So let me go ahead and get those other pieces cut and get them ready, and we'll get them angled. We'll start kind of put this thing together and we'll pick it up from there. I'm so glad it's back. I miss. She's out there explaining her hobby horse stuff that she made this morning for her channel. Father-daughter YouTubers. But anyway, I want to see how this fit in the truck before I got too carried away with doing anything. Bad news. Bad news. It fits fine. So what I've got to do is to rabbit the material in, I have to have this line come and follow that line. So this has to get cut out. And then this over here has to get cut out. and then those pieces will actually fit on the outside and line up with these edges. This one will actually fit on the inside. This one will fit on the outside. Otherwise, it changes that angle. But yeah, it fits pretty good. I still got to cut this back. I went ahead and marked that so I don't forget, because when it goes into reverse, it just barely hits it. So I may actually come back like 3/4 of an inch, because I've got to make that trim ring to go around this. And I think it's going to get kind of close to this area, but there's not much I can do about that. It is what it is. So it's fairly centered in the front. It's centered between the seats. So yeah, it's working. It's working out. This is a little bit different than I did last time, but it's very similar to how I did it last time. But anyway, so all we gotta do now is get the shift boot hole cut out, get these other parts cut out, and get the voltmeter stuff cut in, and then we can start kind of think about how we're going to finish this thing up. Take it apart and have to router all those little pieces. These pieces that go in here, I may need to recut that one. I should have cut off on the outside. I think I actually accidentally cut off on the inside. That's why this is funky. I think I messed up there. This is how far this one comes back, how far that one is forward. I think I marked the wrong one. Oh well, it happens. Best part about it is I can throw on the router table, make one real easy, so I'm not too worried about it. But we'll get this pulled out and get this ready, and we'll be able to go from there. So, well, I can put a piece on the outside. It's not going to matter. You're not going to be able to see it. So yeah, we'll just do that. There's no sense remaking that. We'll just make this one go on the outside. We can still router the most part of it and make it work. If there's a little bit of an edge there, we can put a little bit of filler in it and sand it. I had to do a little bit of that last time because I didn't plan that far ahead for the Rabbit, and I had issues, kind of the same thing I'm doing now, so it's not a big deal. But now that we know that can work, let's get there and make it work. All right, it's now about 7 o'clock on Sunday. I've got the two sides made using that same technique I just told you about earlier, standing it up on the table saw and getting them to fit. The only issue I have with this is you give this backside, there's a little bit of a gap, and what we'll do is we'll just do some body filler work in there to fix that. Same a little bit on the other side. So this basically has the console figured out for as far as we need to go with it at this point. So what we can do is go ahead and blow it apart and go ahead and rabbit this edge back so we have a place for the vinyl to tuck into. So same thing on the last one. We wrapped the sides with the darker color, the top of the lighter color. I started making the pattern for the handle, or for the shift cover. It's right here. So it's 1 inch by 1 inch around that. It'll sit right on top like that. This will get cut out. I'm actually gonna cut it down to probably about a 1/2 inch thick, make just a real thin trim ring on it. I'll do that real quick too. I think I plan on just 45ing both sides of that. It'll be rounded here. These corners will still be kind of square, but I think it'll still look really good there. So let me get the pieces on here, and we'll get this cut out real quick, have this all ready, and then we can set everything up, because I need to router the inside of this as well. So I'll go ahead and get this cut out with a flush trim bit while it's still in the router, and then when I go to rabbit, I can rabbit everything at the same time and get all set up for the same thing. So yeah, it's definitely looking better. I still got to do the pieces on the back of it still. I still got to get this piece put on. This one goes against the amp rack, so I'm not worried about filling that one in. Then once we get together, we'll take and do like we did the last one, and take some rougher grit sandpaper and just sand those corners rounded, so this was not such a hard edge. Sanding on the front corner where the voltmeters go, so be just like that, nice and rounded over, and rounded over. Yeah, and out here you can kind of see I got to practice on my corners. But, and the thing I don't like, this vinyl is really soft. Like, stuff barely got into it and it's already tore it. So, you know, that's just part of it. This stuff is not very durable at all. It's just cheap stuff off Amazon. That's where the seatbelt got into it when it was vibrating. It turns out I broke a seat mount this weekend at the car show. About a 50-minute drive there and back, and I played wide open both ways. And apparently there's a vibration in the seat that it broke the seat mount. So I'll have to pull the seat out and get it welded up. It's not a real big deal, but I was driving the road and all of a sudden my seat's kind of like leaning back, like what the heck's going on here? I got home and found out that it was busted. So not a big deal. But let me get this blown apart. I'm gonna go ahead and get that shifter boot cover made, and once I get it cut out, I'm gonna rip it down to about a 1/2 inch thick. That way it's not that tall, because I don't want it that tall. I don't think it'll look good being that tall, so we'll rip it down. But y'all see me do that a few different times now. We're in the Sunset City, so there's no sense to show it again, but I'll get that knocked out real quick and we'll be right back. We'll pick it up. Picking it up. Dude, it's such a nice day. It's a little warmer out, but still not as bad as it was last week. It's not, death to everybody today, so Nissan's looking pretty good in the sun. I like it. I love that little truck. All right, so now we have the shift boot trim piece, and I just took him 45 dit on the inside and the outside. Had to clip the corners so it doesn't go over the edge. And what we'll do is we'll do like I did on the other one. We'll just take and put a couple holes. We'll put a couple holes in the corner, and we'll put magnets, and this piece will just magnet down right there. I should have enough to do that, and then that way it holds that shift boot in place. That'll work really good, and they'll make it look really nice and clean. So yeah, the only thing we really have left to do now is get the cup holders out and figure out where we're going to put them. They'll be kind of close together, but I don't think it'll be too bad. Let me get this set up, and we'll do that real quick. It's right back here behind it. So good fit. So we'll just place these upside down. Yeah, we still got plenty of room for them. So you can't see, but underneath the thing, I put a piece of 3/4 underneath here to screw these two together from the bottom side, so I have to fix those holes in the bottom. So whenever I cut this hole out, I may have to trim that bottom support out, but what we'll try and do is just space them about like that. So I think that'll look pretty good. Still work out all right. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll just kind of mark roughly where we want them. Just trace around, then we'll get good measurements and actually center them, other than just doing it by eye. But this will give us our spacing anyway, so we know what we want. So we'll want to do that while we have this all taken apart. That way we're not have to take it all apart again. So it's a good fit though. And I'm probably gonna try and recess these so these will push down in there and be flush. I didn't really think about that when I did this last time. I 45'd them, and I was gonna flush mount from the bottom, but I'm not very good at getting the material to wrap around on the inside. So yeah, now we're to the point where all this stuff needs to be rabbited, where we can tuck our material. I still got to do that little piece on the back. I'll do that off camera. I just have to get it filled in like I showed y'all before. Just got to do this little back piece here, do a little trim sanding, get everything fitting real good, then we'll break it down, we'll rabbit it out, and I'll pick y'all up back then. Picking it up. Well, I'm sorry about that. I thought I recorded that. Apparently I didn't. I took this completely apart, explained how I took it apart, why I took it apart, what we're going to do, and I didn't record any of it. So right now I'm getting the rabbit bit set up. There's different sizes you can use. Right now I'm trying to figure out how wide I want that to be. I need just enough room for that material to tuck into that. That's pretty decent, but I would actually like to be just a little bit deeper than that, I think. Test it again. Looking at it, looks decent enough, but I'm gonna come up just a touch. Try that. All right, so now we got a nice beveled edge there. That'll give us room to tuck our material into. And you see into there, you can get them both tucked in, and it'd be okay, because last time I had it too tight. So I want it to be a little bit deeper as far as down, so I'm going to change this top bearing out. I'm pretty sure I did the bottom bearing last time, not the full-on biggest one. So It just seems like an awful lot to me. I think that's what I did last time. So I think it's still a little deeper than it needs to be. But I think that'll work out for me since I'm still trying to learn. So give me a little bit of room for trial and error there. So what I got to do is make sure I stop at these corners on these two small pieces. So I got them both marked because if I go past that, I'm going to go back and do body filler work in there, and I don't want to do that. So we'll make sure and kind of feed these into that and then work back and cut them out. I've got all these marked on the side I'm supposed to router off. So we'll just lay these up here. Slam down the side down that's supposed to get routed so they don't get confused while we're going through them. Of course, the best way to tell is the screw holes will be facing up on all of these so we don't make a mistake. And let's get started. All right, so now that has all that stuff routed out, all we have to do now is get those holes cut out with the circle jig that I have, and we'll get that set up here in just a second. And but before I do that, I'm gonna get me a pickle pop. I think I deserve a pickle pop. They're in the freezer, right over there. Pickle pop. This video is brought to you by Pickle Pops. Do you need electrolytes? Do you need to stop cramping? Do you like sour snacks? Pickle Pops. Everybody should get Pickle Pops. So my wife had them hidden in the house. She took them out of the outside freezer so I had easy access to them. So I showed her. Ooh. They're good. I'm taking a break. Let's watch Kendall do some horse jumps. Apparently she's not doing jumps. We're back to Pickle Pops. Hurry up. So she built that herself this morning. Pretty cool little jump. She painted it, wrote on it, all the good stuff. And I helped her put it together a little bit. If I did that, I'd break both my ankles and my hip. I don't want to break my hip. I found it on the first try, so that's the size we need. So now we need to get our cup holders over here, our square. And we need to mark this. And this is 5, so let's mark this at 2.5. And that'll be center. I'm going to pull this back just a touch. we'll come back to here. Leave ourselves just a little bit of room because that's gonna get really close to that edge whenever we cut that down. Well, no, because that's the actual outside of it. We should be good there. But I'm still gonna scoot it back just a touch. All right. So now we have those holes there. We want to lift our plunge up. We'll make sure we get our thing started on there in the hole. We need to set the depth just a little deeper because that was 1/2 inch. This is 3/4. So there we go. And then, like I said, I want to take and plunge these edges a little bit. So we'll have to break this back down. So we'll go back to the rabbiting bit. And what we'll do is we'll take one of those cup holders and we'll mark a line around it so we know how wide it needs to be. Then we'll find a bit that works with that. Or remember what we did for Brandon's was we actually just took this off there, put the bearings on, and checked it with the cup itself. And as soon as it cleared the cup, we were good to go. So I think what we'll do with this one too. I'm pretty sure it was that same bearing on here that's doubled up. We're kind of running out of daylight. The sun has gone down. So we got about maybe 20 minutes, which would be perfect if we can get everything done we need to get done by dark. Yeah, that's the one. So you can feel on the inside, it's just flush with the inside of the cup, so I'll give it a little bit of room. By the time you get the vinyl in there, it'll be really close to right. And then what we'll do is we'll set it up with the cup in there. Oh, gotta put the adjuster sleeve back on. That's how you adjust your height. We'll go just a touch higher than the cup. And then make sure we router the correct side. So we know this butts against the top. We know this is the top because of the marks. So we're going to flip it over, do the top. I need to sand these little spots out first because that will transfer into the pattern on the outside. We don't, so do that real quick. All right, we got that ready. Let's put these bearings back so we don't lose those. Put them in order, or nobody's gonna be able to sleep tonight. You ever get like that with stuff? It doesn't matter, but you worry about it. I'm kind of stupid like that sometimes. All right, again, riding goes down. Let's practice on this one just to make sure that we're not wasting that if we mess it up. You see it drops down right into it. So by the time we get the fabric or the material in there, be a nice tight fit, and it looks nice and flush. So we got it exactly where we want it. And like I said, you can see where that blemish is and how it transfers to the outer panel. See it? So that's why you want to make sure and sand these and get them as clean as you can. Again, riding down. And now you can see why I wanted to scoot that back a little bit. See how close it is to that edge. So good thing we screwed it back just a little bit. But all right, so now we can start putting looks like flies flying around here. Now we can start putting the thing together before it gets dark. That's just a matter of gluing and screwing it, so I'm not going to bother showing you guys that. Everything should go together unless I run into a problem. I want to get it glued together tonight. That way tomorrow I can sand everything and get it ready to start wrapping. I'll go ahead and edit this video, see how far along we are. I don't think we're too long into this, probably 35 minutes if I'm guessing material-wise. So hopefully not too much more than that. If that's the case, I think we can go ahead and wrap this video and be done with it. If it seems like it's too long, maybe a good idea just to wrap this video up and do it again next week, make it a 3-part video. But anyway, I appreciate all you guys being here. I hope you're learning something. I hope I'm being helpful. I am absolutely covered with dust, so now we all look better. Had a daughter came home from work. Hi, Kiana. Say hello. They hear you. Hello. She didn't bring any breadsticks home tonight. Looks like she forgot breadsticks, but it's okay. Still got to cut out the hole for the voltmeters. Just 3 screws that pops off, and then I can put those in, and then we're ready to wrap this thing up. So, yeah, I think we've made pretty good progress. So as this dries, I want to let it dry tonight, and then I can come back and sand out all the little imperfections where stuff doesn't line up exactly perfect. I round these edges over, clean it up. I've got to round over this outside edge. Some of that stuff won't round over really good. I can do it from the top, but anyway, it's not a big deal. Whatever I can't get with the router, I'll do like I did last time and get it with sandpaper, and you'll never know the difference. So yeah, I really like it. I think it looks really good, and it's very similar to that one, just a little better. Let's throw the cup holders in there, see what it looks like with the cup holders in it. Brendan, Tilly, you can come pick yours up. I'm done with it. So there's one. Oh, I got screws sticking out. I'm gonna pull those screws out and switch them out for shorter ones, but I'll do that real quick. Hold on. And there you have it. We have a console. So got the trim ring, got the cup holders in, got all given glued and screwed. So now we just let it dry overnight. Once it's dry, I can come back in and sand all the little imperfections out of it where stuff doesn't line up exactly perfect. Do a little bit of body filler work on the screw holes, and then we'll be ready to wrap this thing. I'm honestly thinking about getting different vinyl, just for the fact that this stuff does not hold up very good. I'm not very impressed with it so far. Did one base meet where the seat rubbed, it rubbed completely through down to the wood. So, but yeah, I like this one. It looks almost exactly the same. I've got just a little bit more room between them, so I'm gonna go through and clean this glue out between this section, make it easier to put it together, and then I can get all my vinyl tucked in all my corners, really nice and clean. So, yep. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and edit the video, see where I'm at time wise, and I'll come back out, either end the video or we'll come back out and start wrapping it tomorrow. All the little stuff, sanding it, I won't really show that. Like I said, it's just a matter of taking the block with some like 40 grit and just rough it in, then some 80 grit and clean it up. It doesn't have to be super slick to get vinyl over it. So it's not like body work. I'll do the body work on the screw holes just so they don't show up through the vinyl. Just Bondo, smear it on there, sand it off, and get it ready. No real big deal. So, but yep, we'll let her dry tonight, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. What's up, everybody?
What's interest?
We're at work. My brother's talking about financial deals and stuff like that. But that's gonna end this week's video. I don't have time to really do anything else, so we're gonna go ahead and just wrap this up here.
Week's over. Too hot.
Week's over. Too hot.
Can't do a video when it's this kind of temperatures.
It's not that bad. They're being sissy. They just want to go off work early on a Friday. Is all they're trying to do. But anyway,
it's 91 degrees, 115.
It's like the humidity level is really low. These guys are being really silly.
I just cooked my Red Bull on this thing.
Can I close the video out?
No.
No?
All right. Do a video. Your outro's gotta be a little longer than normal.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you guys for being there. I do appreciate it. Thanks for all the. Make sure to do all the good YouTube things. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bells, all that good stuff. Lance, one thing you want to say?
I usually hard subscribe when he says that, but I mean you can subscribe to this one.
Don't hard unsubscribe, please. Please subscribe so I can give that Scar Audio SVR D212 away.
Oh dang.
So,
Oh my God.
1,000 subscribers. If you guys subscribe, because none of my brothers, except for the one in the blue hat, he subscribed, but he always makes dumb comments. So, but hey, at least his comments, I gotta appreciate that. But anyway, we're gonna get back to work. We'll go ahead and wrap this video up, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bug is not happy with me. He wants to end my life. I'm just trying to get some work done. Move it along, buddy.